This is the Dealer Playbook, episode 6, and this guy used to be a stand-up comedian. Hey!
You're dialed in to the Dealer Playbook podcast, where it's all about winning auto dealer strategies that deliver proven results. And now your hosts, Robert Weissman and Michael Cirillo.
And here we go. Hey, everybody, what is going on? Michael Cirillo and Robert Weissman with the Dealer Playbook. Robert, what is shaking, brother?
What is up, everybody? How you doing?
Man, we have just lucked out with these things. We just been lining up guests like crazy. If you haven't subscribed to Dealer Playbook, you've got to do it right now. Subscribe on iTunes. Visit our website, www.thedealerplaybook.com. Today, we are fortunate enough to be speaking with Mr. Danny Benites of Lair Buick out in, where is he? Amarillo, Texas?
Amarillo, Texas. Yeah, general manager there. He's been doing this since like 95. He's been a general manager, 30 years of experience in this business.
So pretty much as old as you and I are, he's
Yes.
been a GM in the business, and we'll apologize ahead of time for revealing what his age is. But you'll hear in the interview, man, the guy's so funny. He's like, yeah, that means I've been a manager since I was 9 years old, right, guys?
He's a hoot, man. I love Danny. I'm looking forward to seeing him at this coming week at the Internet Sales 20 group, which in fact is what we're talking about here. Is he's dropping a little formula and techniques that he's created that are going to help you and or whoever you send in your dealership to get the most out of the workshops, the 20 groups, the seminars, the trade shows, things like that, right, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things going on in the industry. It almost, I feel this way. Maybe it's not exactly the case, but I feel like there's a new conference or event or workshop like at least every 6 weeks going on somewhere in North America. But the thing that I love about this, I mean, you and I attend conferences, we speak at these things, we're panelists at them. There was my little plug for Internet Sales 20 group. But, I feel like the dealers go to these things, they get all pumped up, they come back, and they don't really know how to execute. So you guys stay tuned for Danny coming up here in a minute, because he's actually going to just reveal the process. And I feel like in any success, there's got to be a process. And you definitely, if you've listened to our past episodes, you're probably catching on to that trend that, hey, if you want to be successful, there's a definite recipe for it. And each thing that you execute on, there is a solid winning strategy. So, let's just jump right into this. Danny Benites, again, general manager over at Lair Buick, who is going to reveal the solid winning, true brewed and tattooed process for, measuring a solid ROI from attending conferences. Let's turn it over.
Here we go. And just like that, here we are, the Dealer Playbook, and I am happy to introduce again our guest today, my friend, Mr. Danny Benites, General Manager of Lair Buick in Texas, at Amarillo, Texas area. Danny, thank you so much for taking the time out. I know you're there on the front line right now, so I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today.
Man, glad to be here.
Awesome. Now, Danny is he's an interesting guy, man. Super hilarious. We go back a little ways. We connected first at the Internet Sales 20 group in Dallas. Definitely has some interesting takes on things, and we've been in touch ever since. And that's been a few years back now. He's been in this game. How long have you been in the automotive around this business, Danny?
Started 30 years ago.
30 years ago. As long as I've been alive, he's been in the auto industry, everybody. I mean, that's pretty impressive. And
Thanks a lot, Robert.
How long have you been a general manager?
Since 1995.
Wow. Incredible. I was 15 years old, and Danny was a general manager of a car dealership.
Could you make me feel older, Robert? I mean, I actually became a general manager when I was 9.
Yeah.
I was kind of a savant.
Yeah. You and I have done a really good job at keeping in touch too. I mean, over the last 15 minutes that we've actually known each other.
Yes.
So, you know what? Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
I mean, I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, we went on a whole tangent about dead wrestlers. Danny has an obsession. Everybody knows I'm a professional wrestling junkie. Well, Danny doesn't much care for professional wrestling that's active now, more so as an interest and a fetish, an obsession with dead wrestlers of the past.
It is. When you use the word fetish, it concerns me a little bit, but I like dead wrestlers better than real live wrestlers. That is true.
Awesome. Sorry, that's definitely odd, but nonetheless. So anyway, guys, the reason why we have Danny here today is not only because he's a friend. The guy is a wealth of knowledge. Has such a different outlook on things, and he's there on the front line executing this stuff every day. But I had a conversation with him the other day, and we're both, Michael, him, and myself, we're all going to packing up and head to Atlantic City, New Jersey here in the next few days for Dealer Synergies and our friend Sean Bradley's next installment of the Internet Sales 20 group, which is always a blast and is always a great event. Sean does an awesome job. If you haven't been there, you definitely want to check that out. But Danny was talking about, the whole workshop thing, the workshops, the 20 groups, the seminars, the masterminds, whatever. In our business, that's a big part of it is we invest a lot of money and we invest the time. Maybe you go to them, maybe you send somebody to it, what have you. But it's a big part of our business, and they can be very, very, very valuable to you. There's awesome and amazing resources and tactics and strategies that are presented there every single day, nonstop. But the big problem and challenges are, hey, listen, it's easy to go there and get some ideas, take down these ideas, but it's bringing them back and then getting, buy-in. If you require to get buy-in, well, either way, even if you're at the top, you have to get buy-in from the bottom for them to even execute. So Danny has some strategies and techniques that I was blown away by that I wanted to bring him on here. And Michael and I wanted to let you get a little taste on this because it's such an important and vital, actions to take back and, put them in that. What good's an idea? We all have ideas. We all have plans, strategies, but we got to execute them. So, Danny, again, thanks for coming on. And go ahead, man. Just give us a little rundown on what we were talking about.
Well, first of all, both of you, thank you a lot for having me on the show. I'm really excited for both of you. Very talented people, and I know I'm going to be listening on a regular basis. Well, as a general manager, my job is to go in and examine expenses and determine ROI on different things that we do, whether it be, marketing, advertising, expenditures, personnel, whatever. Well, we spend a tremendous amount of money sending people to conferences or myself attending conferences. And so, in the past, it seems like we've done that haphazardly as an industry. We just go to these conferences. A lot of times there's fun. There's some entertainment involved, some good food and fellowship and all these fun things. We get a lot of ideas. We come back. Real life hits us in the face, and they kind of dwindle. And, we may pull a few things out. And I just didn't think it was an efficient process, especially when you're talking about spending $1,000 or $1,500 for enrollment in one of these conferences, whether it be a 1, 2, 3 day event. You're talking about travel expenses. I'm getting ready to fly to Atlantic City from Amarillo, Texas, and I promise you, it's not cheap. Then when I get there, I've got my expenses of the hotel and, of course, my gambling expenses, which I'm sure are going to mount. But either way, these are things that we're going to spend money on. Anytime that somebody comes in here and has some great new idea of a way for us to increase our business, we want to measure how much it costs and what we're going to get back out of it, right? Mm-hmm. Well, here's the deal. Why aren't we doing that with conferences that we're attending or things that we're trying to go to gain knowledge? And so what I've done is just come up with a plan. It's funny how many things that we do get better when we just have a plan and we execute a plan and we just think about what we're going to do at this conference. Number one, before we go. So what I'd like to do to begin with, it's really 3 steps. We're talking about what to do before you go, what to do while you're there, and what to do when you get back. So before you go, what you really need to do is determine, my suggestion is 4 or less subjects that you want to learn about. Now, and I'm going to use the upcoming Internet Sales 20 group as an example, and this is digital marketing, This is BDCs and phone skills. That's kind of the crux of this particular conference I'm about to go to. So please understand, you can adapt this if you're going to a used car seminar, inventory, general manager, dealer school. You're going to a sales workshop about the showroom sales process. Whatever it is, you're going to know the subjects that are going to be presented once you go. Here's the thing. At this particular deal we're going to, and you know what I'm talking about at Internet Sales 20 Group. I mean, the subjects are, building BDCs and phone skills and email leads and KPIs and video and sales management and pay-per-click and SEO and social media and blah, blah, blah. I mean, there's a million subjects. So if I go there without a plan, Robert, I'm going to be inundated. I'm going to be scratching things down right and left. It's going to be convoluted. It's going to be messy. One idea is going to trump another idea, and I'm going to be overwhelmed. And we all know paralysis by analysis. You get too many choices or too much information, and what do we end up doing? Nothing, because it's just overwhelming. So the first thing I want to do is I want to say, at my dealership, I really feel like phone skills is an area we need to work on. Third-party leads is something I want to learn about. Sales management and SEO. Okay, so whatever it is, I want to limit it to 4. It wouldn't bother me a bit if people did 1 or 2, because that's palatable. I can really get in there and concentrate. Now, I'm going to record ideas under other subjects, but I have a sheet here that I call my kick-ass subject sheet, and basically there are 4 forms. Each one has a list of a bunch of ideas for this particular conference of subjects. So I'm going to look through there, maybe pick one, go off the board and pick one of my own. I'm going to write at the top email leads at the top of this little page. Then the next page I might put website traffic or whatever. So I'm going to separate these into the 4 subjects that I want to go there and concentrate on. Then I'm going to have another sheet that just says nuggets. And I actually have these forms, by the way. We'll say this again later. These are available on my website at www.dannybenites, DANNYBENITES.com. And you can go there to my toy box section, and it says downloads. Go there, and you can download these forms. And you can look at them.
We'll be sure to link to that, put links in the show notes and on the site and the post for this episode, too, for everybody to go ahead and get to those too. So don't worry about writing that down, people. You'll have access to it.
Awesome. And so anyway, but this particular sheet I'm talking about that has one of my 4 subjects, there are just simple blanks there where you can start writing ideas down. Next to it is a column that says rank. We're going to do that later. But the first thing we're going to do is when I hear something about email leads, my ears are going to perk up, and I'm going to take that sheet and I'm going to write down these ideas. I need to work on my templates. I just heard another guy talk about doing video business cards. Wow, that sounds good. I'm going to try that. Another guy saying we're working towards 5-minute responses. I'm going to write that. I'm working on video walkarounds attached to my emails or whatever that has to do with email leads. So I'm writing these ideas down. Once I get through the weekend, I'm going to go back through my notes. Then I'm going to rank these ideas within each subject. This subject may have 5 ideas. My other page that's on pay-per-click advertising might have 10 ideas, so on and so forth. Now, once the conference is over and I've accumulated all these great ideas, then I'm going to go back and look at the 4th subject. And first, I'm going to prioritize those subjects in the subjects that I think are most important to my dealership, that are most actionable plans. And so I'm saying email leads is my big thing, so that's going to be my number 1. My pay-per-click advertising, that's my second most important. That's number 2. So let me recap. I'm going to categorize my subjects. Then I'm going to prioritize the ideas I get within each subject. So now I have a very organized set of ideas. I've taken all this chaos and I've created a uniform way of recording them while I'm there. Because if I try to recap later, Robert, I can't really remember the context in which these ideas were given. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing it as I go. So I have realistically 5 sheets. I've got 4 subject sheets. Then I've got one I call nuggets. And on the other nuggets could be something totally off subject, like I need to buy an orange.
Just
I need
something
to buy an orange tie. I need to buy an alpha dog hat and silver chain.
Just something.
I need to learn to play the guitar. Whatever. And so these are the things. And then I'm going to look at those. Those are just little things that I want to do later. So now I have my plan. So I've planned ahead of time because I know what subject I need to work on. I've been to the seminar and I've got these ideas. Now the hard part, the thing I wanted to spend a little more time on is I've got this idea and I'm ready to go back. And what I've likened this to is the difference between carrying something around on a flatbed trailer and carrying something around in an armored truck. It seems like when we go to conferences, we back our flatbed trailer up and we throw these ideas onto this flatbed trailer. Then we get in our truck and we drive 90 miles an hour down the highway as these ideas blow off the trailer. Okay? If anybody's ever had a flatbed trailer and you didn't tie anything down, you're going to get to your destination. Nothing's going to be left on the trailer. However, in an armored car, I know everything's safe and secure in there. So that's one of the things that one of the analogies I've created in that, we have to take these ideas home in a secure manner. And by first categorizing the subjects and then prioritizing the ideas inside there, I feel like we're going home with this information more safe.
So let me ask you this. So backing up to the pre-conference and sketching out and developing, what your top, take homes that you're looking for, where you're looking to get the most help in. So do you sit down with, your depending on the position the individual is in the dealership, but are you analyzing this stuff, bringing it down yourself, or are you going to your desk managers or even, internet people, BDCs, etc., salespeople, asking them, okay, where do you think in this, okay, so we're going to a digital, this is predominantly digital stuff. So where here in the digital realm do you think we need the most help, basically?
I totally understand the question, and I'll return it with a question. What do you think I'm going to get more buy-in when I get home? Which technique? If I go find these ideas out myself and go and decide myself, or if I involve the very people
no doubt.
that are going to help me put it into effect. So
without a doubt,
the answer to that is exactly what I'm sure you're expecting, is that it's a team situation. So if I know that I'm going to come back hopefully with primarily ideas for my BDC, I'm going to talk to them about what they think the areas that we need to improve on. Now, I may lead that conversation as a general manager in the same way a salesperson does with a customer. I may lead them down a path knowing what we need, but I want them to identify it. When I come back, if I present it as a general manager to them and I say, I have some great ideas that will help you accomplish the things you
automatically they're going to be defense.
They're bought in.
Yes.
They're ready to go, because I flew all the way to Atlantic City to support something they felt was important.
Yes, but so I misunderstood what you're saying, but I'm saying, though, if you come back, let's say you don't do that and sit down with them, and that's a good one right there, people, is that's something that I guarantee a lot of people that are going to these conferences do not do. And
Sure.
Just the simple fact that even if listen, I already got these things listed and I know what I'm going to get, but even just the simple fact of you just, like you said, with like a salesperson with a customer, you're just leading them down that road just to show that, hey, I care. What you think, what you say does matter, and it's just the simple fact of that, and it could go such a long way. And that's coming from someone that was in that position that just didn't feel like I was being engaged with enough from, my higher ups, and they weren't maximizing me at all. So
let me tell you that today's employees, it's different than when I started. Today's employees, the number one thing they want with an employer is they want to feel like they're part of something bigger, and they want their voice to be heard. Salary is number 4. Number 1 is they want to be a part of something. So make them a part of something. And I hate to say you're doing it for selfish reasons, but I'm telling you, you can set this deal up. It's their idea. They come back and they jump in. Now, that's just part of it. That is a general manager or a dealer going to a conference, coming back and wanting to sell and get it implemented when he's selling to the people. Now, the sad part is that probably only about 25% of the people that are attending these conferences are actual dealers and general managers, because most dealers and general managers are lazy and they want to just send someone, hey, you go to this conference, you go get smart, come back and make me a lot of money. I'm going to be at my beach home. And so, so this is just part of it. I want to make sure we get to the part where if you're a sales manager, salesperson, internet coordinator, and you go get these ideas, how to come back and sell this to your general manager and dealer.
So kind of along these lines, we're talking about, we kind of did a rewind to pre-event or pre-conference, and you talked about the plan that you have in place. And it really sounds like we're approaching this primarily from the angle of, one of the higher ups, the GM, the dealer principal, or somebody attending these conferences and what their process is. Do any of those steps apply to determining who from your team you're going to send to one of these conferences?
Absolutely. I think that's something that we don't think enough about. So I'm the general manager of the dealer, and I'm ready to send somebody that's going to attend one of these conferences. I, as a general manager dealer, have a responsibility. Number one, I'm spending my hard-earned money. I'm spending money that I get paid on as a general manager because I get paid on net. The dealer is spending money that they have sending somebody. So the way to maximize their ROI is to make sure that they know the subject matter of the conference they're sending it to, and not just an overview. They need to know detail. Who's speaking? They need to listen to YouTube videos from those people, read some material, make sure the information they're giving is information that they want their people hearing, and so that they're trusted and they're people that are in the industry and that have a good track record. Because as a dealer and general manager, I'm not saying you don't want to trust your people, but don't put your $5,000 in the hands of somebody who wants to go to a conference in Las Vegas. Because why? Because it's in Las Vegas. God, Oh, hey, there's this really good thing in Las Vegas I want to go to. Well, who is it? I don't know. It's some guy.
What are you looking for in your team to help you identify? Yeah, you know what? It's going to make sense for this individual to go to that conference. What are some key characteristics?
Well, first and foremost, I would love to tell you that I think that strategically about it, but I really look at it more like this. What kind of a human? This is just a good person. I know this person, their heart is in it. They're passionate. They're going to go and really want to learn to come back because they want to succeed. I really care more about that than technically where they're at in the dealership. But if they're, of course, if I'm sending the Internet Sales 20 group, I'm not going to send my warranty clerk. I want to send my BDC coordinator or my director. Maybe it's someone that needs the concepts that are tailor-made to what's going to be taught there. Maybe it's my director that maybe it's going to be a wide spectrum of topics. I need somebody who could absorb that with the knowledge they have, or the knowledge that's at that conference is going to take them to the next level. Really, it doesn't take a lot of thought. I think it just takes some thought, and sure
the expectation is in the process. You've got a process really laid out. They know what's expected of them when they return from that conference.
Yeah.
Think about this. I'm saying, hey, Robert, I want you to go to this conference. Here are some sheets. The first thing we're going to do is sit down and talk about what we need, what you think, what I think we need. Secondly, here's how I want you to record these ideas. Third, here's the analysis I want you to do when you come back.
That's perfect for accountability and also to track where your money's doing, what this investment is doing for you, making sure this person didn't go out there and throw down all night.
Because you've engaged them prior to going to the conference by, kind of getting them geared up, showing them what it's all about, getting their input.
I believe in you.
It comes full circle.
And I really like the part where you're talking about get the list of the presenters and the workshops, who's putting on the workshops, and watch YouTube videos of it. Make sure that their message is what you want your people to hear. It's the way that you do business, or you're willing to do business.
Yeah, or you're sabotaging your own effort.
Absolutely.
I'm preaching this message, and I'm just sending them to a guy preaching another message, and I'm just compounding my problem. So, and again, the fun part, the part that I think your listeners and you guys both are going to get a huge kick out of, is this third part. and I'd like to attack it first, unless you guys have other questions. I'd like to attack it
Go
first.
for it.
Go for it.
As far as someone who's not a dealer or general manager, who has been down, they've gone through these steps, they've got these great ideas. Because let me tell you typically what happens. I wish I could take a snapshot of the people's face that are at the seminar and they've heard these great ideas. I mean, you've done it, both of you. Everybody's so pumped up, it's just ridiculous. You know, I'm pumped up. My pen, I've gone through 3 pens. I've written out 19 pages of notes. Well, I'm going to go back and I'm going to get rich, and it's going to be exciting. Gee, I hope my manager will go for it. But either way, this is going to be fun. I'm pumped. Okay, you get on the plane. You just can barely sit still. You're making your notes. You're you're getting all excited. And then life sets in. Your cell phone starts blowing up. You get back to the dealership, the lot porter's backed into another vehicle, you got service heat, 2 salesmen quit, your finance manager wants a raise, you're getting contracts bounced back, your numbers have slipped, you've dropped pace. All these things have happened, and you take those ideas you're so pumped about, but because you have these immediate problems, you set them on the corner of your desk, and you start attacking problems. Your excitement level drops immensely every day. You keep looking over at those ideas. Yeah, I got to get to those one of these days, back to the heat, back to the grind, blah, blah, blah. Oh, gosh.
The euphoria's gone.
It's gone. The ether's worn off, and we're back to square one. And as a dealer, what has my money done for me? Nothing. I mean, a lot of times, sadly enough, nothing. Not just a little, but nothing. So this last part helps to kind of break through that, because sometimes less is more. So we've really, let's just paint a picture where we've gone through this. We've categorized, we've prioritized. We've got right now an idea that I know is going to cost our dealership $1,500 a month to sign up for these. This new company called Super Leads is a company. I want to buy these leads because I found out at this seminar that they have these best leads. They scrub them around. They all buy cars within 15 minutes. And yes, this is something I want to do. This is something we need more leads anyway. This is really the first thing I would like to implement. But when I go back to my store under the normal scenario and say, hey, boss, I got this really cool idea. There's this company called Super Leads. It's like $1,500 a month, but everybody's doing it. I think we can make get out of here. Get out of my office. We can't spend any more money. You're wearing me out with these expenses. And then you walk out with your tail between your legs. All the rest of the ideas, you chunk those in the trash because my boss doesn't love me, and it's back to square one, right? Does that sound familiar? Yeah, I mean, I think it sounds familiar with anyone that's ever been, and they come back, and it's because they didn't attack the whole conference right, and they went into their general manager or dealer and they didn't present the idea. So realistically, the salesperson or the internet coordinator or whatever, when they come back, they need to present this idea to their general manager or a dealer the same way a salesman presents a product to a customer. I'm going to go sell this to him. So I really need to kind of go through the steps of the sale with him. I need to make sure that I'm prepared, that I've qualified, I've done all these things, and I understand what is going to get my general manager excited and what he's not going to really care about. You know what general managers and dealers like? They like net profit. You know what they hate? Expenses. Why do they hate expenses? Because it affects their net profit. Why do they hate that? Because that affects their paycheck. So when you just go in and throw an expense at them, that's all they hear is expense. So I wouldn't go to Mexico City and present an idea in German. They're not going to buy it.
Yeah.
First thing I have to do is I have to learn to speak his language. Dealerships, this is an important point, dealership managers, general managers, and dealers speak net. Everyone else speaks gross. Everyone's pay plan is based on gross. The general manager and the dealer typically, or the dealer for sure, the general manager typically, their pay plans are predicated on net profit. So that's why your used car manager wants to stock 9,000 cars. And that's why we want to do all these things, because we're just paid on sales. So the idea is to prepare this idea. So what I've created, the third form that you'll find at the link later to download. It's called My Kick-Ass Idea Profit and Loss Statement. We are going to create a miniature statement on an idea. Now, I don't know about you, but my dealer speaks this language. He speaks financial statements. He speaks profit and loss statements. And even if you're a person who's never looked at a financial in your life, you've never looked at a P&L, this sheet's so easy, it's ridiculous. But it puts things in the category of income and expenses and net profit, which as a general manager, now you're singing my song. Now I'm listening. Would you guys agree?
Yeah,
that
for
makes
sure.
sense.
So here's the deal. And through the power of podcasts, I will paint a picture of this form. The very top little section just says, here's my brilliant idea. And that's where you write out that I think we should buy leads from this really cool company called Super Leads. And that's it. That's my idea. I just want to name my idea up there. The next segment basically is income. And it looks like a miniature Excel spreadsheet, but there's just a few columns and a few rows. And so what I have to do immediately is I have to monetize my idea, okay? So I'm going to analyze and monetize at this point. You remember before we categorize and prioritize? Now we're going to analyze and monetize this idea. And so I have some formulas in here because at a workshop like the one I'm going to, there's a few things that subjects that we can funnel everything into, or a few categories. For instance, this idea will do one of the following things. This idea will get me more leads, right? This idea will get me more website visitors. This idea will help me set more appointments. This idea will help me get more shown appointments. This idea will help me get more visitors to my website via social media, right? So I know there is some ideas, or there's some categories in which these ideas I learn are going to benefit my dealership in a financial way. Does that make sense? So basically, I have on the left a blank, and so I think if I'm going to buy these leads, I know that's $1,500 a month, and I know that I'm getting an additional X amount of leads. So I'm going to write this in the box, in the one that says more incoming leads. That's what it's going to get me. So let's just break this down. My math's going to be terrible, but I'll say this thing's going to get me 100 more leads. That's easy to figure. So it says more incoming leads times 10% equals, because we know if we get incoming internet leads, realistically, we want to close, Robert, 12 to 14%, correct?
Yeah.
But I want everybody to be real conservative when they're doing this.
So you're going to go 10%.
I'm going to say 10%. So 100 is going to get me how many more cars sold per month? 10?
Yep.
The next column says times average gross front and back per unit. Well, I know our store average is $3,000 a car, but I'm going to put 2,500. So 10 cars times 2,500 means I'm going to get $25,000 worth of additional monthly gross because of this idea.
$1,500 a month. Boom.
Well, yeah, but we're going to go into more detail in the 1,500. So I've got $25,000 worth of additional gross on my worksheet. Now, the same applies if I'm going to get more website visitors. I'm going to multiply how many website visitors I get times 1.5%. Jim Flint, who does the Moneyball presentation and things, he thinks that if you get 100 visitors, you're going to sell 2 cars off of that. It's 2%. So I backed off and said 1.5. So you can multiply that. Whatever it is you think it's going to help your dealership. So I'm only speaking on more leads, but again, you can monetize each of these different categories. So back to more incoming leads. We're at $25,000. So my income on this idea is that I know it's going to bring $25,000 more gross profit to the dealership. Okay? Now we're going to go to expenses. And here's where you get your dealer and your general manager's attention. First of all, they understand that. Secondly, you've gone to the trouble to understand their plight, that there are expenses that are involved with any idea. So where a statement has a bazillion lines on it, I've really separated this into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines and another one for miscellaneous. But the first thing says monthly product cost. And the description says the average monthly cost of this product or service, if any, whether it be a subscription or per sale or per lead or whatever. So I'm going to move that over to 1,500. Setup charge, there's not one. Personnel labor, we're going to add another BDC person for $1,500 because we need some more people. The gross on $25,000 at 30% is $7,500. And I'll go quickly through this because I know we're getting short. Equipment, am I going to have to buy anything? I'm going to buy a $50 headset, no marketing or promotions, and no training expense involved in this. So I'm going to add those numbers up and come out with a total monthly expense. I'm going to take my income minus the expense for a net profit. Then at the bottom, I have some additional uncategorized benefits like culture, CSI, ESI, efficiency, speed, whatever. Now, when I go talk to my general manager dealer, I want to tease them with this statement. Hey, boss, I'm working on an idea that I think is going to put about $14,000 worth of net profit on the bottom line for the dealership, but I'm still analyzing all the financial parts. I'll get back with you in a couple of days. Now, guess what happens? That dealer's going to follow that person around like a little puppy dog for 3 days. What's this idea? What's this idea? Why? Because you're speaking their language now.
Yeah.
Now who's holding the cards?
How to win friends and influence people.
I'm telling you. So now you're speaking net. And so they're not only going to really listen to this idea because it makes them money, but you thought this thing out. And you're not only probably going to get your idea through, you're probably going to be in line for the next promotion. You know what I mean? Because you're thinking of this as an owner now, and you're looking at the expense structure, and you're treating this idea as something that's going to make a net profit for this dealership, not something that's going to put money in your pocket. If you're a dealer manager, do the exact dealer principal or general manager, do the same project and go back to your people and say, here's how much money we can make. I'll take care of the bottom part, the expenses. That's on me, pal. I believe in you, and we're going to put this, what you get paid on, in your pocket. I'll take care of the expenses. Now you got buy-in from them. So you can go take it from the general manager or dealer down, or you can take it from the people that work in the dealership up. And it's a beautiful thing.
And those forums, again, everybody, we'll have links to that. It's at Danny Benites, BENITES.com. And then if you just hit / and then where'd you say you had them at, Danny? IS20G, right?
Yes,
on that
that's
page.
that's short
right
for the Internet
page.
Sales 20 group, but yeah, IS20G. So it's DannyBenites.com / IS20G, or just go to my website, click the toy box, and then the downloads, and it'll be right there. You can print them out and modify them. I don't care.
And it's free. It's free, guys. And like that seemed to be effective. You know, that's a good, it's probably better than what you're doing now, and especially from a dealer standpoint or general manager that's sending people there. This is a way to hold somebody accountable, and have something to reference and just have a process for that. Because that's when you said this, that's why I really wanted to have you on and talk about this, is because that's something that we don't normally talk about, that you never hear really anybody talking about or giving input on, which is probably why you thought it would be a good workshop as well.
That's why I do it. I love doing what people don't do.
Well, and you know what? And the beautiful thing about it is, everyone throws around the term ROI. Yeah, let's measure ROI, but they never talk about the process behind it. So I feel like, that you just dropped a wealth of information for car dealers who are going to be attending these events. You know what? Even if it's a webinar, man, I don't care. I feel like this stuff could apply to just, the variety of info sessions that dealers can be a part of.
That's right.
No, you're right. I didn't even think about that. So look, you could get these forums or, and go into build these strategies going into, like Michael said, webinars or, your own meetings where to gather, let's say you're a larger dealer group and you're meeting the managers meeting or general managers meeting, everybody's getting together to kick around things. I mean, it's good. It's good, structure and outline and something to follow.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Danny, thank you so much for being with us today. That was incredible. We're looking forward to seeing you at Internet Sales 20 Group. Again, everybody, check out his website, www.dannybenites.com. Download those forms. You can actually get them, www.dannybenites.com /IS20G. And you know what? If you're not attending conferences like this, you definitely need to make that a part of your plan. Again, Danny, thank you so much.
No problem. Also on the website, you can subscribe to my Danifesto, which is a newsletter that I'm going to be doing. So,
Awesome. And from what I found, learn about how you're not really good at surgery. I think you should really pick up on your surgery skills there.
I'm working. Well, they say work on your strengths and just forget it. Forget your weaknesses and let somebody else do it. So I've decided to let other people perform surgery on me from now on.
There you go. Done. Love it. Thank you.
All right, Danny. We'll see you in a few days, brother. Look forward to it, man.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks
Appreciate
a million.
you.
Bye.
Thanks. You too. Okay, and guys, was that not incredible? Mr. Danny Benites, man. I took 3 pages of notes, man. I don't know about you, Robert.
Oh, yeah, I got them, man. I'm going to categorize and prioritize them. I'm telling you.
You know what? The thing I love that he said was, he started out, he was talking about analyze and paralyze, and it's so evident that that's what's happening at a lot of dealerships across North America. They go to these things, they come back with a wealth of information, a ton of ideas, pages of notes. They call their sales meetings, they call their staff meetings, they try and convey this message, but nothing ever seems to happen. And I mean, the thing that I loved about it was this was a true conversation about ROI. I feel like Danny dropped some incredible hints about how to actually track an ROI, and what we can tell, it's all in a process. You've got to have a solid process leading up to the conference, for at the conference, and then when you return back to the dealership from the conference.
And he's the real deal. I mean, you can tell it when he sits there and he talks about, okay, you're coming back, boom, real life hits. There's issues, there's problems arise, because in this world, in the dealership world, that's what we do. We put fires out on a daily basis, and he's 100% right. Your morale then decreases because you leave there on cloud 9, jacked up, and then he couldn't explain it perfect. That's a guy that's been there. You know what I mean? He's speaking from experience, without a doubt.
Love it. So, I mean, we're both going to be there. We're looking forward to seeing Danny in more detail talk about this whole thing. Internet Sales 20 Group, Sean Bradley's event, Dealer Synergy. It's going to be incredible. Looking forward to it. We're going to be dropping some crazy content from Internet Sales 20 Group. So everybody definitely want to stay tuned for that. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the Dealer Playbook. We'd love to have you listening in on a regular basis, because we're going to just keep dropping crazy bombs of information like that.
Yeah, if you get any value out of this, us with it being a new podcast right now, it really helps out a lot. So if you can, subscribe, and if you got some value out of it, please leave us a review. We definitely would appreciate that. Give you a shout out. But again, hit up his forums, DannyBenitez.com/IS20G. The links will be in the notes. I'm ready to get going, man. I'm about to go pack my bags for Atlantic City.
Subscribe, like, comment, feedback, anything you can give us. Visit us, www.thedealerplaybook.com, and we'll talk to you next time.
Take care, everybody.